Sometimes it is the framing of what goes on around us that is of importance and of significance. Sometimes with what happens with us, we get offended and we get upset, and we're in a position where we go, why are things the way that they actually are? Finally, be strong in the Lord and his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realm. If you expect that this world is going to be an easy and a soft place, if you expect that this is a world that has no challenges and difficulties, if you expect that this world is civilized, calm, proper, policed, and is not going to be dangerous, when you come into an area where things are wild and where things are untamed, and where, whether through beasts or an unregulated civilization, things are dangerous, it's going to be hard for you because you were not expecting what you discover. And I read the passage about being able to stand, being able to be protected, and being ready for things that are savage, that are hard, that are difficult. Because I want people who are either walking with the Lord or people who are considering the biblical worldview to understand there is an aspect of this life that is savage. There is an aspect of this life which is hard and difficult. And there is an aspect of this life that is dangerous. And if you come into this world expecting that you're not going to face savage, expecting that you're not going to face difficult, expecting that you're not going to face dangerous, you can end up being offended. And the reason that you would be offended is because you thought the world was going to be much easier than it turns out to be. And the truth of the matter is that the world that we live in has a significant amount of evil in it. And at the very beginning of the biblical record, at the beginning of explaining the world to people of faith, it talks about how the world was created in perfection, but humanity, in one of the very first decisions that we made as people, going back to the original father and mother of humanity as we know it now today, they made a choice, they made a decision, they did not follow what would have protected us, but they instead gave themselves over to a deceitful and a deceptive being that introduced a flood of evil into humanity. And with this, I'm thrilled if you're a person who is righteous. I'm thrilled if you're a person who is moral. I'm thrilled if you're a person who knows what the good is and does it. If you're a person who ends up being drawn towards the light, who ends up being a good person. But the truth of the matter is very simple. No matter how moral, no matter how righteous, no matter how godly, no matter how good a person you are, the backdrop of the life that you live is going to be a backdrop that is involved in having evil, having wickedness, having deception, having despair, having annihilation be part of the creation that you have to take your stand in. Be a person who is moral, who is upright, who is righteous, and who has the love of God. But understand that the whole world around you that may not have the same heart commitment that you have. The world around you is a contained place, but it is a place in which both righteousness and evil are contending. Righteousness and evil are at war with each other. Righteousness and evil have different worldviews and have different armies and have different people who are aligned with one side or the other. The only way for a righteous person to be safe in this present age is to understand that there is a war raging around them. And even though you wish for shalom, you wish for peace, you wish for good things to happen, the truth of the matter is that you don't get to choose whether or not the world is going to be the way it is. It just is. And you get to choose your response to the world around you. Shalom.